don't overcomplicate it, because the searcher on the other side of the screen isn't some scientific wizard. They're not typing in some crazy keywords you'd never think of.
Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips.
Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 121, and today I am talking about how to choose a good keyword. I actually went back to look at past podcast episodes and realized we haven't really discussed this topic at all. We've discussed a lot of SEO goodies, but we haven't actually chatted about finding keywords. And this was actually an episode that was submitted to us from one of our listeners. So we love to do that to bring you guys content you're actually craving. So please continue to send us ideas, submissions. We'd love to take them. And today, I'm really excited just to chat about keyword research with you guys because it can feel really hard, and it's a really big mental game to have the confidence to choose a keyword and just use it and move forward rather than just thinking that there's this perfect keyword out there. So I'm excited to dig into this, and I want to dig through my exact process on how I choose a good keyword. And if you want to know more about my overall SEO process, peep back to episode number 69. That's where we dig into everything about how my SEO process comes to life for my clients and beyond just keyword research. So I'm really excited to chat about this, and I want to kind of start at the beginning. And if you don't do keyword research often or have never done it, I want to talk first about what is a good keyword. So a keyword in general is a word or a phrase that's carefully selected when you're writing online content, whether it's for your website or for a blog or for a product description, and it helps people who are searching for you find you. So think of it like this. When you turn to Google with a question or a topic and you're typing something into that search bar, that's a keyword. And sometimes people call it a key phrase because it's multiple words long. So this keyword basically needs to be in your content, because if it's not on your website and it's not in your blogs, if it's not in your content at all, how is Google going to be able to serve you when someone is searching for you? So that's step number one. There's two kinds of keywords. There's a short tail keyword and a long tail keyword. A short tail keyword is something like candles, therapist, copywriter. These are keywords that are going to be really hard to rank for because, as you can imagine, there's billions of people probably out there trying to rank for the same thing, and the competition is going to be really high. However, those volumes, the amount of people searching for those things is going to be a lot. It's just going to be really tough for you to actually show up on that first page. So when we think of long tail keywords, think of something that helps describe you, makes that competition a little bit less, helps to bring to life the uniqueness that you have and that you offer. So that's things like non-toxic candle and licensed trauma therapist or an email marketing copywriter. Those help differentiate that short tail keyword and help you rank for something more specific to get you to your ideal audience. So long tail keywords is always the win, and usually that's what you're going to be writing for or searching for is a long tail keyword. So now the big question, how do you find them? Lucky for you, we actually have a really, really good resource for you. If you head over to duocollective.com/free SEO tools, you'll be able to find it there. I'll also make sure that I link it in the show notes. And this breaks down 4 ways to find SEO keywords for free, along with some implementation strategies about what to do once you've actually found them and how to grow your SEO. So for now, I'm just going to talk about one of my favorite tools and suggestions, which is Uber Suggest. So Uber Suggest you can actually use for free. You can do 3 free searches a day. So you can type in a keyword and see what the volume is, what the difficulty is. And we're going to chat about all of that in just a second. And you can actually go in and peek at your competitors, which again, we're going to talk about that in just a sec. So you get 3 free searches a day. It's also, if you do choose that you decide you love it and you want to do more than 3 free searches, they have a super affordable model where you can pay once for lifetime access. So you don't have to have a monthly fee, which is definitely why I recommend it to all of my coaching students and all of my clients who want to use it for keyword research, especially as they're creating content. So I do hear too, before I move on, I hear a lot of critiques on, well, Uber Suggest isn't as good. It's not as good as Ahrefs or SEMrush. And that might be true. However, how you do the research, so the things we're going to talk about here of like how to choose a good keyword, it doesn't matter how exact the numbers are. So the only difference between these tools is that they use different methodologies to actually populate those numbers. So some people believe that other tools use better methodologies, which is fine. However, at the level that we're doing research, using these ranking factors, which I'm going to talk about to like decide what a good keyword is, you don't need to have perfect science. You don't need to understand perfectly what the monthly search volume is every single month. You just need to get into the general vicinity. And this is where people love to make keyword research so hard. And it's really just more about getting started and feeling confident enough to get started and starting to take a stab at this on your own. So I personally, whether I used Uber Suggest back in the early days, I do now use SEMrush, which I do love the tool. It's amazing. There's so many good features for it. However, I pay a few hundred a month for it. And unless you are offering an SEO service where you're doing keyword research as often as I am, it likely won't be worth the investment for you. If you are strictly using it just to create blog content or update your product pages or update product descriptions or whatever it may be, likely a tool like Uber Suggest is going to serve you just fine. So let's talk about how I actually do the research and finding the keywords. So when I'm working with a new client or I'm choosing a new piece of content to write, the very first thing I do is just start researching whatever it is that I'm thinking. Honestly, don't overcomplicate it, because the searcher on the other side of the screen isn't some scientific wizard. They're not typing in some crazy keywords you'd never think of. Maybe you have some jargon in your industry that you need to like unfilter so that you can actually come up with the words someone else is typing in. But usually we have to kind of dumb it down, so to speak, so that we are typing in the straightforward thing that someone's searching for. So just use your brain. You have a piece of content you want to write. You have a product you're trying to sell. You have a page on your website you're trying to update. Ask yourself, what do you think someone who's searching for this content but doesn't know me or my brand, what would they type into a search bar? And then take that word or phrase and plug it into Uber Suggest and see what the volume is. See if anyone is searching for it. And then thankfully, these tools can actually give you other related keywords and ideas from there. So in Uber Suggest and in most keyword research tools that you use, you can actually create a keyword list. So what I like to do when I start this process is just start creating and populating a list. So the first step of that is really just doing some research based on what's in my brain. What do I think people are searching for? Let's type that in, see what keywords I like, and add them to my list. The second, and this is my favorite, is to actually Google and find similar pieces of content that are ranking on page 1 and page 2. So if it's a product, Google what you think that keyword is in your brain, Google it, and see if there's other pieces of content out there that make sense. If it's a blog content, if it's a page, if it's a service or an offering you have, just Google it first. What pages populate on the first couple pages of Google? Then I want you to take that URL and I want you to plug that into Uber Suggest and see what keywords this page is actually indexed for and what keywords actually drive traffic. That's the coolest part about these keyword research tools, is that if you're really struggling and say you do step one, you start researching what you're thinking, and then you're like, wow, everything is zero. No one is searching for this at all. And you're just really stuck. Then you can actually take some content that's out there on the web that's already been indexed and that's already getting traffic and then back into a keyword from that sense. So this is actually my favorite way to do research if I already have a topic or an idea in mind and I just need some help backing into a keyword. So at this point, I'm really just grabbing keywords. I'm doing this process, step one and step two. I'm adding keywords that I like to my list, and I'm no judgment. I'm just clicking, just click happy, like just click away, be as happy as you want, adding as many keywords as possible. When I'm doing this for a client across all of their core pages, I'm not going to lie, I probably sometimes get to like 70, 80, maybe 100 keywords because I'm just, again, click happy, no judgment. I'm just adding keywords to a page. And then later, I'm going to go through and measure them back against that criteria. So let's talk about that criteria. What criteria should you use when choosing the perfect, quote unquote, because there is no such thing as a perfect keyword, but when choosing a good keyword, what criteria are you looking at? So I'm looking at one, monthly search volume. So the search volume is how often someone is searching for that keyword every month. You want that volume to be at least a few hundred if you can. It depends on really, it's unique to you and your niche. Because if you have a really, really niche industry that's not being searched very often, you might have a lower volume. However, on average, you usually can find a keyword that's in the hundreds, if not in the thousands, that then the second criteria has a low difficulty. So usually an Uber suggests you can see this with a green, yellow, orange, red kind of stoplight approach. Things in the green are awesome. That means that you have low competition and your likelihood of appearing on page one is going to be pretty high. So doing that is going to be really important. So you want to find something with a high search volume and then a low difficulty. The next thing that we look at is cost per click. So this means that if someone were to buy this ad on Google, how much would someone pay every single time someone clicks on that ad? So now you're probably like, Abby, why are you talking about paid? Because we talk about Google here, or we talk about organic, non-paid Google world here. So the reason why this matters is because the stat is something like 70% of people scroll right past those paid listings and go down to the organic listings. So if we use paid as a guide, that can help influence what keywords we want to go after. How can we get those 70% of people that are scrolling past the paid ads to get to us? But we're using that cost per click to understand that, wow, people are taking action on this page. People are actually clicking their high value keywords. So can we go after those keywords organically? So cost per click is another measure we like to look at. And then finally, just relevance. Like sometimes you might really like a keyword, but then you go and Google it and you're like, wow, all of the content on this page is not the same type of content I'm trying to display. So that likely means that Google thinks this word means something else, and that's why they're delivering a different kind of content. So it's really, really important at the end of the day, say all of that criteria looks good. You have a high monthly search volume, a low difficulty, and there's a good couple dollar cost per click there. If you get that keyword, now type it into Google and verify. Is this the type of content you want to be up against? Does it make sense for your content to live here? Relevance is going to be super important. So making sure you actually rank, and Google actually thinks that your content is the same as what someone is searching for. So at the end of the day, remember, it is not about perfection. It's all trial and error. Sometimes we get so handcuffed by this process that we never get our research actually on our website. And then all of a sudden we're just researching and we never actually create content and we never get to see how it performs. So choose a word that feels best. Stop worrying about perfection. Just choose something that feels really good. Then publish your content and then wait a few months and check Google Search Console to see if one, you're indexed for it. Like, is it showing up on Google Search Console in your performance section? Is it showing up as a word that either you're getting impressions for, meaning you're indexed and it's there, or that you're actually getting traffic for. And after a few months, you should be able to see something happening there. And that will give you a sign as to whether this keyword is working for you or not. But you definitely need to give it time. And if you want to go all the way back to episode number 15, we talk about 3 different metrics that you can track in Google Analytics to verify your performance too. So I just talked about 2 different tools there. Google Search Console will tell you if you're indexed on Google for a word and driving traffic. And then Google Analytics will actually tell you the performance of that content, regardless of whether it's just search. It'll tell you how that content is performing overall. Both are going to be super important for you to check in on and verify that this content is working for you and that you don't need to make updates, whether it's blog content, whether it's website content, any of that. So if keywords is something that you are really struggling with, I want you to get on the waitlist for SEO on Tap, because we have an entire module dedicated to keyword research. I even have a lesson solely dedicated where you get to watch me do this process and do this keyword research and show you how it comes to life. So super excited, and I hope to see you in there.
If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us a review and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We absolutely love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.